Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. Making sure I don't have no feedback. Yes. Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. Sure I don't have no feedback yet. Mic check. 1, 2.
Something black. The oils from my hair stains and down my pillowcase.
Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. Making sure I don't have no feedback. Yes. Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. Sure I don't have. All right. Let's do that.
Probably also too because of changing damn temperature.
That's what
My
I mean.
friend, he was like, "You probably got parts of a cold or something." I was like, "Yeah, I don't feel bad at all. Look at my joints and shit. No, I don't like nothing around titty area. Yeah, that mean red counts and D. Okay."
Okay.
And he would guide his people back to themselves. Brothers and sisters, we have a representative of God in our midst. Why is he a representative of God? Because he carries the truth of God in his mouth. He's a representative of God's divine messenger to us. Why? Because he carries the truth of the divine messenger in his mouth. He is a representative of the most powerful, the most dynamic, the savior of black people in 1989 going into 1990, a special representative and assistant to Minister Louis Farrakhan. Why? Because he carries the words of Minister Farrakhan in his mouth. He's back, and he's black by popular demand. Let's give him a round of applause. Minister Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Let's give Brother Sabir Muhammad a black hand. And Brother Charles X from Pasadena, was he up before? Let's give both of them a black hand. And Brother Malik Farrakhan, let's give him a black hand. You got a better hand than that. All praise is due to Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. I bear witness that regardless to land or label or language, there is but one God. I bear witness to Osiris. I bear witness to Moses, to Jesus, to Muhammad, the first and the last. And I bear witness to all of the great worthies who have come in the great line of divine. We greet you, my beloved and beautiful black brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. We are very honored and very happy to have you to come and spend this
Sunday
Hey everyone,
evening
Daryl
with
Eves
us.
here, and I
If you
think
would
it's
have been
time
with
that we
us
actually
last
do another
Sunday,
video.
you would
Wouldn't you say?
understand why it's difficult
Of
for me
course,
to
we're going
make
to
the
do
next
another video
statement.
because YouTube's
But on
changing.
the
It changes all the
eve of the
time.
new year.
You know, with algorithm
In fact, if
changes,
you were
with
here
feature
last Sunday,
changes,
you know that we're
pulling away
not
features,
sure
adding
what
features.
year it is.
Man, it's hard to keep up
After we
at
went
times.
through the
But
way that these
some of the
devils
stuff
have
that
messed
they're
up the
doing on
calendars
YouTube right
and the
now
time
are
and the dates.
okay.
One
Other
time he
things are
celebrated the New
freaking
Year on
amazing.
March
And what I'm going to do
1st.
is
And
over
now
the
it
next
has
couple
been
videos,
changed to
we're actually going to talk
January
about
1st.
some of the amazing features
And we
that are
went
out there,
over the
how to
fact of
actually
how he
utilize them.
shifted the
And I thought
days
we'd
and
start
weeks
with
and
Super
months
Chat. Now we
around
could do a
and how
dry,
Julius
boring
Caesar
tutorial
named the
on how
month
to actually use
Sextilius after
Super Chat.
himself and called
Or
it
we can
July.
shake things up. What do you say? Should we
And
shake it
how
up?
the Emperor Augustus
Okay, let me
changed
see here.
Quintilius
Let's shake
to
it
the
up
month
with
of
$100.
Augustus.
Yeah.
Or August after himself. And took a month out of
Super
February
Chat?
to add that to the month of Quintilius that he had changed to name it after himself, August, so that he would have an equal number of days.
I believe that the Super Chat feature is literally a game changer. I'm not going out on a limb. I just really think it is a game
We went through the
changer because
history book.
it's
How
going
many
to
of you were here
transform live
last
streaming. It's going to transform YouTube
some of
and
you,
the
I'm sure, are
platform.
still
So
trying to
before we go into the
determine
ins and outs of
how
how to
old
set
you
things
really
up
are.
and how to
What your
utilize
birthday
Super
really
Chat,
is.
you need
And
to be
if
able
it's
to
really
qualify for it.
2:30
So
right
now,
now,
I know that some of you are like,
simply
oh man,
changes the
why does
time
YouTube
to
ever do
daylight
this? But
savings
that's just the
time
way
to
that it
discount.
is.
Just
You have
second
to
word changing
be
the
in
time
good
any
standing.
damn time
Okay,
they
be in
get
good
ready.
standing. That's a
We
really
don't know
important
if
thing
it's
to do.
2:30,
Number
3:30,
two,
or
you need to
1:30.
monetize
But we
your
know
YouTube
one
channel.
thing.
Of course you're going to
We're
monetize
all
because
here
you're trying to
together
get money from
under
your
one
fans
roof.
and connect with your fans,
Our
right?
family
Number three,
here together.
you have to be in
Some
these following
Christians in the
countries right
audience.
here.
Muslims in the
Okay.
audience, Christians
Your
of
country
all
might not be on the list,
persuasions,
sorry, but
Muslims
they're
of all
opening up new
persuasions.
countries all the time.
Black
They're dealing with,
nationalists, some
local
socialists,
regulations
some
and so on.
communists,
And number four,
some
you
black
have to be
people who
18 years old.
come from many different walks of
I
life,
think
but the
that
family
you might be able to get a parent or
together
guardian. Not
under
too sure.
one
I'm
roof.
going to ask some YouTube representatives and get back to you.
I
So
pray
let me go
Allah that
ahead
today
and
we
jump
will
right
be
in
able to
and show you
move
how to
through
set
this
up
subject
Super Chat and how
not
to use
take
Super Chat.
a
Let's
lot
do
of
this.
time.
So to enable Super Chat, we first off
promise
need to make
not to
sure
be long,
that you
but I
don't have
promise
fan
that I
funding
must
on your YouTube channel.
be
Now,
strong.
I actually have it on my YouTube channel,
My
and come
subject
February
today
28th, it is gone. It is in the trash where it
the
belongs.
goddamn
Because
white
honestly,
man.
people have contributed to
That's
my
my
channel. I don't even know who they are. It was very difficult
praise
to
to God.
actually give them, good shout outs and stuff like that. So we are going to disconnect this, and to do that, first off, we need to go to the upper right-hand corner, click on the avatar icon, come down to Creator Studio, and once we come into Creator Studio, we want to mouse on over to the community section, and once we're into the community section, we're going to come down to fan funding, where that needs to be, and let's turn that off. It's going to literally disappear come February 28th. Now, what we want to do now is to enable Super Chat. You notice that Super Chat.
A place where people believe in the Bible and believe in the Quran and believe in God and believe in all of the prophets and messengers and those who have come in the divine line of divine. So how could he have such a subject, the goddamn white man? Why, it's sacrilegious. Why, it's blasphemy. Why, it's using the name of God in vain. Isn't that what some of you are saying? You can shake your pretty black head and you don't have to raise your hand. You say that's blaspheming against God. But we want you, for the time that you're here, to sit back and relax, keep an open mind. And as the Bible says, let us reason together. Let us do what? Let us reason together. Now we should define our terms. If the subject is the goddamn white man, the first word in the subject is the. Is that right? The. Let's get some white chalk and go to the blackboard. The first term, we got it up here, so we'll just underline it, is the, or the. The. The in English grammar is the definite article. Anytime you say the anything, it standardizes it. It epitomizes it. It sets it aside and pretty much makes it a cut above everything else. This is the standard by which everything else in that category or class is to be judged. So if we say the goddamn white man, then that means there's no other goddamn man anywhere that can compare with this goddamn man. All right, but we want to look at it though. God is the supreme being. Is that right? Not just any being, but God, using the definite article again, is the supreme being. God is not a supreme being. God is what? The supreme being. Nothing else to compare with the power, the wisdom, the majesty, the glory of Almighty God. So he is the supreme being. He is the creator, not a creator. He is what? The creator. He is the former, the shaper, the molder, the fashioner of everything that is in existence. He is the divine mind of the universe. Is that him? And he is called in many languages by many names. And you, black man, and you, black woman, you have always believed in that God. Never has there been a time when the black man and the black woman, could you free me a little bit? Man and the black woman have not believed in a God. Now, I know the white man has told you that when he found us in Africa, we were swinging through the trees eating bananas and ooga booga. And that we were savages, living on a beast level. And that he brought us to America and civilized us. That he did us a favor by bringing us to America. But such is not the case, because white folks do lie. We have always believed in the supreme being. We have always believed in the creator. We have always believed in the shaper, the molder, and the fashioner, that one who called and willed everything into existence. We have always believed in the divine mind, the infinite intelligence, the power, the force that is behind the cosmological and universal order of things, and who set it all to a balance and set it all up according to divine law. We have always believed in that God. You go to one part of Africa and we call him Nakumpo. You go to another part of Africa, we call him Umvelingo. You go to another part of Africa, we call him Unkulunkulu. What we call him? Say it again. Let me hear you say it one more time. Nakumpo. Umvelingo, Unkulunkulu. In another part of Africa, we call him Shango. In another part, we call him Oshun, Ogun, Ilegba, Babaluaye, Oludumare, Obatula. Another part of Africa, we called him Ptah. And we, there in the holy city of what is called Egypt by the white man, but it's called Kemet by us, which means black. In the ancient nation, black African nation, Kemet, or what is called Egypt by the Greeks, in the holy city of Abydos, in the sacred temple of Seti I, there on the walls in what the white man calls hieroglyphics, but what we call in the language of Kemet, the Medunetta. In the language of the Medunetta, not hieroglyphics, you can read it on the walls. And it dates back 4,100 years. Some say 5,000 years. You can read on the walls the first creation story. It predates the creation story of the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It predates the creation story, or it predates the beginning of the Holy Quran, so it pulls both of them together. Where a God among the African black man and black woman that we call, again, showing you that we always believed in the one God. When we say Umvelingo, we hold up one finger. When we say Unkulunkulu, you will see the African holding up one finger. Why are you holding up one finger, African? I'm holding up one finger because Unkulunkulu is the one God. I'm holding up one finger because Nakumpo, Umvelingo, because Shango, Ilegba, Babaluaye, Oludumare, Obatula, and the others, they represent one God. Olufun, Ileda, who is the feminine representation of that one God. Because we never had a hang-up in Africa. The God and the goddess always go together. You can't talk about a universe unless you talk about the God and the goddess. When you talk about Olufun, you got to talk about Ileda. Because it is from the holy bond of Olufun and Ileda that you get Oludumare. You can't talk about the god Osiris unless you talk about the goddess Isis. Or you can't talk about Osar unless you talk about Aset. And the offspring, the divine immaculate conception that comes from Ileda and Olufun, Oludumare, is the divine immaculate conception. And that holy one, that child that comes from the black Madonna, Isis or Iset, from the union, spiritual union with Osar or Osiris, is Horus according to the Greeks, but in the Medunetta his name is Heru. So we always have the God and the goddess. If you were going to Kemet or to Egypt now, you will see where the white man always tries to chisel the female out. He always tries to destroy the black goddess and leave the God by himself. Because you ain't got no God unless you got the goddess. You don't have no balance unless you have the two of them working together for the balance and harmony of the universe. All praise is due to Allah. We're on the one God, and we're on the fact that we always believed in that one God. And so there in the holy city of Abydos, at the sacred temple of Seti I, in the so-called hieroglyphics or in the Medunetta, we find the first creation story, where the God, the black God, what kind of God? Where the black God, Ptah, through authoritative utterance and divine will and creative force and power, gave utterance and called and willed the universe into existence. And so the Holy Quran says that he said, Kun fayakun. Kun fayakun. Be, and it is. Be, and it is. Kun fayakun. And the Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and he said, let there be this, and let there be that, and let there be light, and there was light. And the light, it says, then began to harmonize with the darkness. So let there be light. Kun fayakun, be, and it is the authoritative utterance that the Africans, do you read in the hieroglyphics or the Medunetta, that Ptah through authoritative utterance willed and called the universe into existence. In another part of Africa we called him Amin. In another part of Africa we called him Amin-Ra. In another part of Africa we call him Aten. All over Africa we believe in the one God. We have always believed in the one God. The one power and force behind the universe. The white man ain't never had to teach us nothing about no God. White folks don't believe in no God. The only God that the white man believes in is himself. When he says on the back of the dollar bill, in God we trust, it's him that he's trusting in. When it was time to go and raid Noriega in Panama, he didn't call a meeting of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Negro Uncle Tom, boot-licking, butt-licking, puppet Colin Powell, the Negro and his staff, and call them all in and say we're getting ready to attack Panama. Let us bow our heads and say a word of prayer. Do you think Bush did that? Do you think he said, Our Father who art in heaven? Do you think he did that? When he got ready to attack Brother Maurice Bishop, the leader of the New Jewel movement in Grenada, do you think Reagan and the boys called a meeting of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Senate and Congress and had a moment of prayer before they did it? No, and if they did, they were doing it to themselves. They said, load up the troops, the guns, and the ammunition, and let us go.
That's right.
When it's time to launch one of their spaceships, they don't say, let us bow our heads. They say 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. They start the countdown and counting, right? He believes in no God except himself. And so he will make up a mystery God, but then he'll give you a son that looks like him, with blonde hair, blue eyes, and pale skin, and tell you that if you see the Son, you've seen the Father, because the Father is in the Son, and the Son is in the Father. So if you see a white man as the Son, your subconscious has to suggest to you that the Father must be white some kind of way also to produce a boy like that. Your mind has to say that to you. And here, as we look at it, we again have always believed in one God. In fact, all of the other people of the earth get their religion from us. The black, the brown, the red, the yellow, all of them get their religion from us. I got a bag back there with a big book in it that I need right at the table. It's in the kitchen, I think. Brother Jamal knows where it is. No matter what land you go to, they believed in what we had given to them. You go among the Mexican-speaking people, they believe in a black Savior, a black Messiah, who has a strange set of circumstances surrounding his origin into the world, who comes from a black Mary or a black Madonna. I just need the book out. I didn't want to give Pier 1's a plug up here. Pier 1 Imports a plug up here. Among the Greeks and the Romans, they always believed in a God that we had given to them. In Greece, it was Zeus, and Zeus was a black god. In Greece, they also had Apollo. You get to the Apollo Theater in New York. They had Apollo. Apollo is a black god. In Rome, they even worshipped a black woman as the goddess of Rome, Isis. In France, they worshipped her, because when you study the etymological root of the term Paris and Paris in French, you will find that it is linked to the root of the name Isis, and that at one time the city, back down the wheel of time, came from the name Isis. I'm talking about Paris. You had Fuhai of China, Zaha of Japan, and I mentioned those who speak Spanish. You had Quetzalcoatl. You had Krishna of India, which means the blue or the black-skinned one, blue black-skinned one, or the purple-skinned one, Krishna of India. And you see many groups of white people throughout America today who worship the black god Krishna. You see them with their head shaved and a little ponytail or a little ponytail, running up and down the street, beating a gong and hollering, Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, whatever the hell they say. They believe in a black god from India named Krishna. Everywhere you went in the world, Zeus, Apollo, Krishna, Buddha, all of them black. So we gave religion to the world. We gave morality to the world. We gave ethics to the world. We believed in an ancient system of morality and ethics and spirituality called in Kemet, Mayat. Mayat, truth, justice, order, harmony, balance, and reciprocity. Mayat. And the Mayatic balance that black people had in the black nation, in the black society, is what attracted the white people of Europe to follow this moral code called Mayat. Now, we who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I bring you greetings today from his spiritual son and his representative in our midst, the man who is the fulfiller of his work and the extension of his work, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I bring you greetings from him of Assalamu Alaikum. When you study these two men, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you will find that they teach us of a book that is called the Old Testament Testament, the Torah, and they teach us of the Injil or the Bushra or the New Testament or the Good News or the Gospel. They teach us of this entire book called the Bible, but we don't study this book from a white theology perspective. You've heard the term. EU means caves and hillsides. Rough is self-explanatory. They were roped or bound or confined within the caves and hills of Europe for 2,000 years. And for 2,000 years, this blue-eyed devil crawled around on his all fours. He ate his meat raw. They ate each other even. They ate dogs. They ate anything. They take tree limbs and bust an animal in the head or drop a rock or a boulder on the animal and bust the animal in the head, blood everywhere, all in the mangy, diseased fur of the animal. Drag the animal back to the cave, and the little baby devils and the medium-sized devils and the mama devil and the daddy devil and the uncle devil and the auntie devil and the cousin devil and the grandma devil and the grandpa devil, all of them would then start biting on the nasty hair and fur of this dead, bloody animal lying right there in the cave. They didn't know anything about fire. Hell, when they first discovered fire, they damn near ran off the cliff. Say, gee whiz, gee manini, what is this? Really, they couldn't even talk in those days. How many of you saw the movie Quest for Fire? Hold your black hands up. If you saw Quest for Fire. In Quest for Fire, you saw but they tell you were a savage. They you were a savage. They walked around all in ooga booga. They're the ones that put the lie on us, but they were the ones ooga. And sign language and all kind of stuff. You could always talk. There's never been a time when you couldn't talk, black man. And we know it ain't never been a time when you couldn't talk, black woman. Sister got something to say, because she's the first teacher. The children, the babies, they learn the language from her. They don't call it the father tongue, they call it the what? Why they call it the mother tongue instead of the other tongue? They call it the mother tongue because it is mother who fills them with the spirit of life. It is mother who inspires them, giving them inspiration and information that moves them along the course of life. And so they call it the mother tongue, because the goddess is the one who breathes that life into them. Extension, decomposition coming up from the animal's life was just a matter of fact. It was just a part of the daily routine. For 2,000 years, the white man and white woman lived in the caves and hills of Europe, roped, bound, confined in Europe, living worse than in the Dark Ages. He did his number one in the cave. All right. Yeah. You know what number one is. He did his number two in the cave, too. So for 2,000 years in that same cave, he did his number one. For 2,000 years in that same cave, he did his number two. Can you imagine walking around in your number one and your number two, generation after generation? Can you imagine not just walking around in your number two, but can you imagine lying down to go to sleep every night, right there in your urination and your defecation? That's what they did for 2,000 years in the caves and hills of Europe. For 2,000 years, that's what they did. And today they still like their meat raw. Don't they? Some of you go to the restaurants, you try to act like white folks, don't know what the hell you doing. You haven't even been to that kind of fancy restaurant before, you trying to show off. You know how you can fix them big, beautiful, thick African lips all to the side and get proper when you like to get proper. You trying to listen to the white folks at the next table so you can decide what you go order. And they say, I'll have a prime rib end cut. You say, yeah, that sounds like that's pretty good. So you think you cool, you straight now. But then the waiter asks the next question. How would you like that, sir? How would you like that, ma'am? And you heard the white folks say, I'll have mine rare. You say, well, hell, that must mean it's a real special kind of steak. If it's rare, it must not be no more steaks like that one in the whole restaurant. So I got to show off for my lady, so I'm going to get a rare end-cut prime rib that ain't got no more cuts like that, because it's rare. It must be a special steak. And so you sitting there proper, holding your cancer stick in your hand, puffing on a poison nicotine weed that the goddamn white man gave you, fire on one end and a fool on the other end of the cigarette. You sitting there waiting, and they bring it with the blood all in the plate, and then you lose your coolness. You ain't proper no more. You lose all of that. I don't want this here. What you bring me this here for with all this blood? I don't want to loop with all this, but I thought it was rare. He said, well, sir, or ma'am, it is rare. They still eat their meat raw today. They like to eat it with the blood running out. They like to taste the blood. They got blood pies. They got blood pudding. They got a pudding called boudin. Blood. And they sit down and eat it like it's Hunt's or Heinz tomato sauce. Big tablespoon of blood. Say, isn't it great, honey? She said, yes, it's wonderful. Pass me the escargot. That's another thing they hang you up on. They say, our special today is escargot uguhukishi. You don't know what the hell it is. And they bring it to you and you find out out his snails, and them African lips get straight then. You're not proper anymore then. You're not holding that little, you know how you can hold that little finger up when you're trying to get proper? So I don't want no damn snails. I don't eat no snails. Crawling white folks love snails. They even have another delicacy that they call mountain oysters. That's the male organ of the bull. Sex organ of the bull. They eat the bull, the male bull genitalia on a plate with a fork and a knife and some salt and pepper. And call it a delicacy. And you sitting right there eating with them. You want a rattlesnake steak. These people did this for 2,000 years in the caves and hillsides of Europe. They crawled around on their all fours. That's why our dear brothers in this house, who we love and respect, they should be here at this meeting today. We love them. The Grand Master of this lodge should be sitting right up here. We have a special seat for the Grand Master, the Imperial Grand Potentate. We got a seat for all of them. The daughters of Jericho and the heroines of Jericho and the Eastern Star. We got a special place for them because they are following after the white man's order and not after their own. They have 32 degrees, is that right? 32 degrees. But they say that they are upright on the square. Been raised from a dead level to a living perpendicular, upright on the square. In order to be upright on the square, you must have a 90-degree angle. Is that right? It must be a 90-degree angle to be upright on the square. Half of that is what? Is a 45-degree angle. Right? Is that right? 45-degree angle. But now here's the people who say they're upright on the square. And they got 32 degrees somewhere down here. And 32 degrees is freezing on the Fahrenheit scale. Then they get an honorary degree, the 33rd degree, and they go into the Shriners. And they name their lodges Mecca Lodge, Medina Lodge, Muhammad Lodge, Elijah Lodge, Quran Lodge. These are white folks. White presidents are members of the Quran Lodge, the Muhammad Lodge, the Mecca Lodge, the Medina Lodge. Did you know that? White judges, whites who are in corporate America, even white straw chewing, tobacco chewing, snuff dipping, overall wearing peckers down in the deep south that will call us a nigger in a minute. They believe in masonry and they are members of Quran Lodge and Muhammad Lodge and Mecca Lodge and all of these lodges. And they wear a fez with a black tassel on it. A red fez with a black tassel on it. With a star and crescent like this one turned upside down. Not right side up, but upside down. With a sword running through it. You see them wearing it in diamonds in their lapel with a sword running through it. The sword is there to remind the white man. You have robbed the black man and the black woman of their name, their language, their religion, their culture, their God, their folkways, their mores, their norms, and robbed them of the very power of their own being. And if you ever let the black man know who he really is, if you ever let the secret leak out of who the black woman really is, if they ever know who they really are, you will never be able to control them again. So that will be the hour of the resurrection of the dead, the rise of the black nation, and the fall and the demise of the white man's world. So they can't let you know who you are. Praise be to Allah. They can't let you know who you are, that you are actually actually a God, black man, and you are actually a goddess, black woman, and we are all children of the Most High God. You can read it in the 82nd chapter of the book of Psalms. Ye are gods, all of you children of the Most High God. It says, arise, O God. That's the 82nd chapter of Psalms. Then they contend with Jesus. You know Jesus, right? Yes, Jesus. That's the black revolutionary Messiah. Who is he? Now some of you can't say that because you're so used to a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, pale-skinned, buttermilk complexion peckerwood up in the stained glass windows of your church. Here you are, blacker than the ace of spades. Some of you so black and beautiful until you blue-black, purple-black and beautiful. Some of you so black until you blacker than 150 million midnights. Hair so nappy and beautiful until it looks like a million black power fists standing up on top of your head. But you go to a church with a white Jesus, a white Mary. Am I lying? Tell the truth and shame the devil. White angels with a white robe on and some white chicken wings. Some of you even believe God is white and you can't see him, you say. You believe the angels are white. When you close your eyes to pray, you see a white man. Oh Lord, help me get out of this jail. They done gave me 40 years. And you see a white man in your mind that looks just like the white man that gave you the damn 40 years. How you gonna get out? How in the hell are you gonna get out? Oh Lord, the rent is due. Got a red notice on the phone, a red notice on the gas, a red notice on the lights. The refrigerator is empty. Oh Lord, please help me. And you see a white man in your mind who looks like the white man down at the water and power department who's going to turn the lights off. White man in your mind that looks just like the white man down there who's going to turn the gas off. Look just like the white man who's going to authorize the marshals to come and set your stuff out on the streets. He looks just like the white man that's going to serve you notice to get out of his house. The scriptures say he or she who calls on the name of the Lord God shall be saved. So the question is, have we been calling on the right name of God? Have we been calling on the right God? The question is, have we been calling on God at all? Or have we been calling on the devil? Have we been praying to the devil hoping that God would overhear and answer? Or have we been praying to the devil thinking that the devil was God? What is the best place? Where is the best place for the devil to hide? Well, the best place for the devil to hide is in the house of God. Huh? Isn't that the best place? Most people won't look for the devil in God's house. But the Bible says that God's coming would not be until after the workings of Satan. That Satan would be given a period of rule and reign to do his thing. But then God, that would be an Adventist day. An advent of the God, meaning the coming of God. God would be seen coming in the clouds. Doesn't mean you're going to walk outside one day and look up in the clouds and see somebody up in the clouds riding a reindeer or riding a cloud or some foolishness. It's symbolism. The Bible is speaking in parables, symbols, metaphors, and similes. And you must understand the parable, the symbol, the metaphor, and the simile. It means that he would be seen coming in the clouds of confusion. That it would be a time of great darkness. It would be a time of great peril and danger. It would be a time when it's very, very cloudy and the people would be in flux and confusion. But it says that when he would come, that he would dispel the darkness and the clouds and the confusion, and he would break the power of the devil by the brightness of his coming. That's what the says to us. So, finishing this up so we can move very quickly, these people here have only 32 degrees, which is crawling around. But they're at 360 degrees. And in order to be upright, you've got to have at least 90 of those, and we start you out with that as soon as you join the Nation of Islam. You ain't got to pay $500, you ain't got to pay $1,000. We don't take you in a secret room and beat you upside the head and paddle you on the back and tell you that you got to ride the goat. Hell, you've been riding the goat all your life. We don't tell you you got to cross the hot burning sands because you've been in the wilderness and the desert of North America and the United Snakes of America since you've been here. So you already have crossed the hot burning sands. You've already been riding the goat. And you're not a member of the board of directors. You always the one that gets the board. So you've already been through the initiation. So when you come in with 90 degrees. When you get the student enrollment in the actual facts and hear one or two of these lectures, you got 90 degrees. You can handle any grand master. You can handle any grand matron. Because the black grand matron and the black grand master really is supposed to be here. That's the truth. That is knowledge, 32 degrees that was given to white people to rule for a limited period of time. So they were given.
Won't we stop right there with that rule for a limited period of time? We're going to underline that. I'm going to stop the share. All right. Black Power, sister. Can you hear me, Sister Crystal? Let me see. I see you, but I can't hear you. We may have a bad signal. I'm not sure. We may have a bad signal. Let me see. Say something for me. Hopefully Sister Crystal will get in here and where we can hear. Where we can hear you. Let me see something right quick. See. We see the sister. We see you. We just don't have the audio yet. Let me see something right quick. Let me make sure I'm doing it right here. Okay. Black Power. Okay. While our sister gets somewhere to improve her signal, we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everybody to the New African Temple. My name is Baba Amin Ojuwo. This is something that we do each and every Sunday evening at 6 p.m., a series that we like to call Baba Amin Speaks. And we want to share that with the community every week, where we're going to basically talk about things that are going on in our community. And I want to bring people into the conversation that are boots on the ground, people into our conversation that have to be spiritual people, because they take on tasks and take on challenges that are bigger than us. You know what I'm saying? That are bigger than themselves, you know. And the sister that we have on here today is definitely one of those people. Our YouTube feed hopefully won't be too choppy. We're going to do the best we can. If it is, let me know in the chat, and I'll even try to move around myself. But hopefully we'll get this thing going, and it'll do what it needs to do. Even if it doesn't, I'm going to be recording this, and you'll be able to see the recording at a later date as well. The recording won't be choppy at all. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Let's get started. Let's get started. Let's do this. Sister Crystal. I might have to move. Let's see. I think Sister Crystal's not having a good signal right now as well. So we are definitely, let's do this. And that, see if that helps. We shut down some of these other streams to see if that helps. All right. All right. Y'all give me some feedback in the chat. Let me know what's going on with the stream. Those of you who are watching, kind of give me some feedback to see if I'm too choppy or if you're getting good audio. Let me know. All right. Let's see here. All right. I see my sister, but I can't hear. All right. Well, we're going to get started. We're going to get started by paying homage to our ancestors who we invite to be with us and to guide us from their plane of awareness so we can be about the things that we're about and say the things that we're about to say. I have my libation plant here. I have my water here. I want to begin to pour libations. If you have someone, an ancestor that you would like me to pour libations to, please put their name in the chat. I like to get us started. I like to pour libations for my mother, Alice Baker, Ashe. I like to pour libations for Nat Turner, Ashe. I like to pour libations for the Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Ashe. And I know we're on a slight delay, so I'm going to look in the chat and see who you guys would like to pour libation for. In the meantime, while I wait on your ancestor, I can communicate with our very special guest. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, she's gonna call. She's gonna call from another device. So hopefully we'll get that audio. She's gonna get in from another device. That way we'll get better audio. I'm sure from a phone. In the meantime, we're pouring libations. I like to pour libations for Queen Harriet Tubman, Ashe. I like to pour libations for Betty Shabazz, Ashe. I like to pour libations for Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Ashe. And if you have an ancestor that you would like to pour libations to, put them in the chat, please. Put them in the chat. And I'm sure Queen Crystal will rejoin us here in a second. Sister Betty White would like to pour libations for her mother, Emma White, and her father, Willie White. Ashe. Ashe. Emma and Willie White. Everybody else. I like to pour libations for my mother, Alice Baker. Ashe. Anybody else? You know, I really believe in honoring our ancestors before we embark on any journey. On any journey. I like to pour libations for all those who transition in the middle passage. Ashe. All right. At this time, I'll go ahead and pour libations for all those we have not named, but we certainly have not forgotten. But of course, if someone decides that they want to pour libation to an ancestor, I will definitely get that done as well. Ashe. Ashe. Ashe-o. All right. All right. All right, peace and power, family. Welcome to the New African Temple. I'm going to trust in the ancestor and the creator that we will get Sister Crystal in here We will get her in here to join us to have this powerful conversation. We're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Before we do, I want to thank everybody for coming over and watching us live on our YouTube channel. There is a slight delay. Of course, I'm using another software, third-party software, but I'm monitoring the YouTube stream. Like I say, we like to pull our bases for great ancestor Malcolm X. Ashe. Right. As you put that ancestor in the chat, I will stop what I'm saying and pull our bases for that ancestor. So I want to thank you guys for coming over. Please take time to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're going to be going live here more. We're going to be bringing our morning bill with Baba Amin to YouTube. We're going to be bringing our He Say, She Say with Baba Amin and Mamin Koyo to YouTube. We're also going to be bringing Sports and Race, our blog about sports and race to YouTube as well. And of course, we have Temple on Sundays on our YouTube channel as well. So we're also setting up a podcast. So there'll be audio versions of our work available to everybody. And we're just getting more organized and really building and institutionalizing the work that we do. Of course, we already have the Uhuru Academy, online African-centered school, 3rd grade through 12th grade, that we broadcast live. Well, of course, that's private live. It's not public live, but it's a live, interactive, private school. 3rd grade through 12th grade, online, African-centered education, full-time education that's enrolling right now. You can inbox me or you can message me on Facebook, or you can get us at 682-233-5054 to get more information about the Uhuru Academy as well. We also offer academic tutoring. We offer, as far as our ministry is concerned, we offer life coaching and spiritual counseling. We offer consciousness counseling. And what is consciousness counseling? A lot of us are coming into information for the first time, and it could be a lot to deal with. A lot of us have been walking around with a certain spiritual system our whole lives, and now you're finding out some truth and some information, or you're beginning to look at the world from an African-centered worldview, and it's hard to process it all. We'll help you do that. You know what I'm saying? We'll help you do that in this ministry, in the temple ministry. And this is the New African Temple. We are an interfaith, universalist, African-centered, universalist spiritual institution where our only religion is Black people coming together. That's what we believe in. We believe in the spiritual unity of African people. That's what we promote. That's what we believe in, right? And so, in other words, you could be a Muslim and be a part of Temple. You could be an African-centered Christian and be a part of Temple. No white gods allowed. You could be a Moor and be a part of Temple, Hebrew and be a part of Temple. Temple has African-centered members from all walks of life. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the Temple, or the New African Temple, formerly called the Temple of New African Unity, is all about. Ashe, Ashe. So I'm honored to have you all in here with me tonight. We're going to have a powerful, powerful discussion as well. But I want to begin with some scripture. And now this scripture is off the walls of ancient Kemet, which is where it all comes from anyway. Ancient Kemet, ancient Africa, all parts of Africa as well. And so I want to start with a passage from this book. It's called the Hosea. Okay, and it's a compilation of wisdom from the walls, from the Medu Neter, from the walls of ancient Kemet. And I think that this is going to help us segue into what we're talking about tonight. Let's see. It says, the modest person is strong, and one who is true in word and just indeed is praised. Houses are open to the humble, and a wide seat is given to one who is gentle in speech and conduct. But sharp knives stand ready for the unrighteous intruder, for there is no entrance except for the righteous. Now, this is from the book of Kagemi, right? And I'm going to read it again. The modest person is strong, and one who is true in word and just indeed is praised. Houses are open to the humble, and a wide seat is given to one who is gentle in speech and conduct. But sharp knives stand ready for the unrighteous intruder, for there is no entrance except for the righteous. That's powerful, because we're talking about African spirituality and self-defense tonight. We're talking about the relationship between embracing our spiritual selves, right? And our right to defend ourselves, our right to defend what we build. And that's and we pour libations, we recognize Mama, Seven Seas Mama. I'm sorry, that's Ohane's mama, Emma Payton. Ashe. All right. We're talking about the relationship between African spirituality and self-defense, right? And this is significant for us as African people because we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to be docile. We've been conditioned to think that it's one or the other. We've been conditioned to think turn the other cheek, right? That's kind of the overriding conditioning. Don't be angry, right? Especially don't be angry at who? Don't be angry at white people, right? Or the devil's gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? We like, I love this scripture because it says the modest person is strong, and one who is true in word and just in deed is praised. And that is true. I believe in modesty. I believe in humility. We don't have to wear it all on our chest, right? We don't have to do that. We don't have to wear it all on our chest. We don't have to brag and constantly tell people who we are, what we can do. We don't have to do that. You know, you get a lot of that. You get a lot of that in our community. You get a lot of that in the so-called conscious community. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. Nobody's putting in more work than me. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's doing that. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes we feel a need to do that. And I don't think there's really I don't think that's necessary, right? Modesty is strength. When you know that you're walking in your purpose, you know that you're walking in your work, so then you can let your work speak for itself, right? And people see what your work. You judge a tree by the fruit that it bears, right? And so there's no need to put it on a t-shirt how great you are. You know, I agree with that. I believe in that. It said houses are open to the humble, and the wide seat is given to one who is gentle in speech and conduct. I like that part too. Gentle in speech and conduct. That don't mean weakness. That don't mean be soft. That don't mean be scared to tell the truth. That just means be gentle in speech. That means have peace. That means walk in peace. You know, that means be gentle in conduct, in your everyday conduct. It's particularly when dealing with your people, dealing with your community. What if we adopted this rule first and foremost when dealing with each other as a people? What if this was one of the guiding principles when dealing with a sister, brother? Be gentle in your speech. When dealing with a brother, sister, be gentle in your speech, right? And in our conduct, brother, when you see the sister, be gentle in your speech and in your conduct. Make sure she knows she's safe. Make her feel warm. Be gentle in your speech with African children. Even when you're mad at your children, be gentle in your speech and gentle in your conduct. I mean, what if we adopted that internally? I know everybody been watching Surviving R. Kelly, but what about surviving us? Surviving African people, surviving each other, period. We do a lot of fighting out here surviving white supremacy. A lot of fighting. Sister Crystal's on the front line fighting. But we also have to survive us. And the tools that we need to survive us are not the same tools we need to survive them. And I think one of our issues is that we're using tools that we should use to fight them, fighting each other. And we're using the tools that we need to use to come together with each other, right, to fight them. So they're getting the internal love and character that we should show each other, and then we're getting the sharp knives that should be reserved for them. And sister, you can come back in anytime. Let me see. Let's see what the ancestors say. Come on, let's do this. Watch this, y'all. Watch this. Oh, I did that. Let me see. Black Power.
Black Power, can you hear me?
Oh, of course. And you know the ancestors gonna work it out.
Man, you know what? I figured it out. This computer been plugged into the speakers. So I got to mess around with it. So better than never, Bob. I mean, thank you for having me.
Oh, sister, thanks for coming on and being with us. For those of you who don't know, You know, this is with us this week. She is the national chairwoman of the New Black Panther Party. She's a conscious citizen of the Republic of New Africa. She's my sister. She is a powerful warrior queen who's on the front lines fighting for our people wherever we need them, wherever the fight is. And we're honored to have her today, y'all. Give a Black Power salute to the Sister Crystal Muhammad. Black Power, sister.
Black Power.
Sister, I am honored that you came on with us today to join me in this discussion. I want to welcome you to Temple. I remember when the first time I met you and encountered you, we had a solutionary panel, I believe, in Fort Worth. And you came up in there and you turned that thing out. Mm-hmm. You came up in there and you turned that thing out. I'm like, who is this sister? You know, and you know, when I got to know, you know, when people tell me, man, that's the national chair, New Black Panther Party, and I'm listening to you, and I'm watching you really handle these topics and just being thorough and really giving a lot of the brothers, because you know a lot of brothers kind of work with some patriarchy, you know what I'm saying? And I could tell a lot of brothers was kind of like, whoa, you know, and had to kind of do some self-checking, you know, and I'm like, wow, now that's the warrior queen right there. That's the warrior queen. And I want to get into the discussion today. I want to talk to you. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, some of the work that you've done, some of the work that you're doing. And we're going to talk about the relationship between African spirituality and self.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can see you. Can y'all see me or am I just audio?
You just audio. I can't see you right now. I don't even have a camera option.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, how much time do we have? Because I got a lot to talk about.
You know, we free Africans, so it's how much time you need.
Black Power, I'm not going to be long. What I do want to do is, first and foremost, I would like to thank you, Baba Amin, allowing me to come on New African Temple tonight. I have a lot of respect and I appreciate the work that you and your queen do regarding the Africans in education, the Uhuru Academy in Fort Worth, and the Prince Academy here in Houston. You know, it's so key. So I want to thank you for that. So, but in regards to New African Temple and being a special guest, I do appreciate that. I'm a freedom fighter for Black liberation. I have the honor and the privilege to have been voted in to serve as the national chair of the New Black Panther Party for self-defense. The only other chair that was voted in to the Black Panther Party for self-defense was Dr. Khalid Muhammad.
Ashe, what a legacy.
Yes, actually Aaron Michaels and Captain David and them started the Panthers in Dallas in 1999. So it was a group of brothers over there on Bear Street. This is what was told to me by Captain David and Brother Ward, Brother Aaron. So when they started, you know, it was them and Aaron was the chair and Captain David was the Minister of Defense. And that was in 89. So almost 10 years later, when Dr. Khalid having his political, whatever the circumstances surrounded power struggle that was taking place in the Nation of Islam, Khalid had survived his second assassination attempt, and he was brought to Dallas, and the brothers with the Panthers in Dallas at the Pan-African Connection, in fact, gave Dr. Khalid safe haven. And the brothers with the New Black Panther Party, Brother Aaron and David and War and all of them, they gave him cover until he healed. And in that process, they began building. And they had an internal vote. At the time, it was Dallas, and maybe it was a few other chapters around the country. Black Panther Party, as I was told, was an organization that was needed nationally. And Dr. Khalid was a national leader, leader of an organization. So when that happened, they had a a vote amongst those members who were there, and Brother Aaron was switched to the same position that Huey P. Newton had of Minister of Defense. Khaled was voted in as national chair.
I say. That was an exciting time too. That was, that I remember those years, and I remember the birth and embryo stages of the new Black Panther Party. And when Dr. Khaled left the nation, and that partnership happened, that collaboration happened with New Black Panther Party, I thought at the time, just on the outside looking in, that was a perfect marriage.
Everything happens for a reason, brother. We all evolve. There are people that might call themselves, I'm speaking about Black people, New African people. Who might call themselves progressive. They might be pro-Black. They just naturally pro-Black and they progressive. And then they evolve and they come across some Black knowledge that it opens their mind, and then they become conscious. And then, when you're conscious, it might lead you to, most of the time, it leads you to start being active. That's the prayer. Yeah. You become an activist. Then as you become an activist, you get into the down and dirty and see what it really is. And then fixing this system, that it is so wicked from head to toe, top to bottom, in and out, that you will naturally evolve to a revolutionary. Yeah. That's what, this journey brings. And that, how the movement is. There are good, bad, ugly, and lovely that takes place in the movement. So Khaled, unfortunately, he transitioned from allegedly a brain aneurysm, but we believe something more diabolical took place. Our currently have an open investigation, reopening the circumstances of what really happened to Dr. Khaled. And with that being said, why he transitioned. Party went. I was told that there was infighting at the hospital bed immediately after he transitioned about who would take the lead. And Captain David, who was the Minister of Defense at the time, Skype trying to pop up. Captain David said that because these Negroes was arguing at his hospital bed and wasn't even warm yet, cool yet, that no woman would be the chair. And the party went without a chair for almost a year. Malik Shabazz came down to Dallas to the headquarters over there on Peabody that the Panthers used to have in South Dallas, and he asked to take the position, and he was appointed chair at that time. Okay. So you had Aaron was appointed, Malik was appointed, Dr. Khaled was elected. Yeah. After some time of Malik Zulu Shabazz being the chair of the new Black Panther Party, due to reasons that Malik cited, he said he was resigning his post and all of the central committee positions would be open for election. There was a bit of controversy around that. We had a national summit, which we always have, when all the Panthers were told to come together. We came together in Atlanta, Georgia, being the neutral central location. And at the time, I was literally lobbying for Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. to be the chair. Okay. And with Chairman Fred, at the last minute, declined. He said he didn't want to get into the political sort of confusion that was going on at the time within the party. He remained an ally, which he has been, and will always be. Powerful brother. Yes. And so next thing I know, the comrades nominated me. Like, me? Wow. I came into the new Black Panther Party in 2002. I had already been an activist since 1993. I was started out as a death penalty abolitionist. Freedom of Shaka Sankofa, in which as activists, we fought a good fight we were able to organize with the people and stop them from being executed 5 times until 2000 when George Bush was governor and used Shaka Sankofa's assassination to become president. That's the first time on that day, on June 22nd, 2000, that's the first time I laid eyes on the New Black Party. I heard, because Dr. Khaled told us, you know, about what was going on, even though I forgot to say at the time when Dr. Khaled became a part of the party, I had already been in the nation since 1998.
Okay.
So I had already reared up in.
You had that foundation there. Yes.
And the nation saved me because prior to that, you know, we was getting into all kind of things, you know, growing up in the South Side streets of Houston, being a native of New Orleans. So it was some wild times, and we was very wild. I can speak and say that.
Yes.
And there were things that, you know, and coming in the nation, Dr. Khaled, in fact, he was our supreme captain when I was in the nation. So when that little internal thing was going, many of us felt torn, but I always loved Dr. Khaled. So
I was actually in study group and actually studied to get my ex when it happened.
Black Power, see, everything is right on time.
I say
that was a meeting that Dr. Khaled came to at the University of Houston. They have a hotel and hospitality department. So there's an actual Hilton hotel at the University of Houston. Well, Dr. Khaled and Dr. Ben Yakin had a meeting in the basement at the Hilton. And that's when I first heard that there was that would have been, I believe that was 1998. Because that's when he had gotten shot in California. The first time they tried to. No, it must have been the time. Anyway, he told us then, we were told not to go see him at the time. But some of us, we had to go see him.
Wow.
And we went, and that's when I heard him talk about that he was working with some brothers in Dallas. They was starting up the Black Panthers again. We was like, wow, really? I remember I would love to get down with them. Reading about the Panthers and seeing videos.
Yeah.
And then fast forward in 2002, there was a reparations conference here that was being held. The conference was being held at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. And there was a big speaking engagement that was going on at Texas Southern University where Farrakhan was keynoting. So at the Shrine of the Black Madonna was this conference with all these Black organizations. And that's when I actually, you know, for the second time got to see the Panthers face to face and meet with them and to them. Because in 2000, when we were at death row fighting to stop Shaka Sankofa for being executed, peripheral, you know, we could just see them like, there they go, it's the Panthers.
Yeah.
You know? But we got to actually meet them in person in 2002, and I've been down ever since. I was asked what
your 17th year.
I've been in the movement since a teenager.
With the Panthers, but you've been in the movement since a teenager.
But I've been a Panthers since the 2000s.
Since the 2000s. Wow.
So I was already rooted in the movement. That's how how I feel. I know I'm not just saying what I wrote. I went through this evolution, and I've always been pro-Black.
Yes.
I always loved my people, but I didn't know about the divine wisdom and all this stuff we was about. And when I came into my consciousness, I was like, wait a minute. This is some book. We ain't going you know, we got to do something about this. You mean to tell us all this is ours and they are control of us? Oh, no. You know,
doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
No. And then I witnessed.
Yeah.
Sankofa movement. I witnessed the power of the people when the people organized, and we stopped his execution 5 times.
Yeah.
From 3 until 2000, he had 5 different death dates. 2000, George Bush executed.
Yeah.
It was critical. And I also, on the execution of Shaka Sankofa, I witnessed Black leaders who had been down from 93 up until then turncoat on us to get council positions, to become representatives, to get put on a board of some charity that got them millions of dollars in 501c3.
See, and let me ask you something. I want to address that real quick. You know, especially speaking from a spiritual level, to be there, to experience that, and to see people fighting to save this brother, and then when the wicked ones go ahead and do it, when finally they execute him anyway, and to see people turn. Like to see people turn and say, well, I'm taking the job over it. Well, I can't speak on it anymore. Or I won't talk about it publicly. I'll tell you, but I'm sure you guys have conversations like, yeah, I'll talk about it here, but I won't say it out there. Yes. Right. How did that feel? Like what is it? What was that feeling like? See, a lot of us only see things on the surface, Crystal. A lot of us just see like when I see about Satoya Brown, the sister that's getting paroled in August, you know, and that case makes the national news, and of course we're happy for her, you know, but so many of us don't know how many people are being fought for behind the scenes for years, for decades, before Satoya Brown and even after her. What keeps you going? What keeps you motivated and in the fight, even in the midst of all of that, the turncoats, the lack of attention? What keeps you in the fight?
Well, when I first started doing death penalty abolition, I was at Texas Southern. I was going to Texas Southern for the first time. I've been there like 3 times, still didn't graduate. But the first time I was going
that sounds like my college career.
To be an attorney.
Yeah, if they had a degree for activism, I'd have graduated stigma cum laude.
I was going to be an attorney, and I was with some attorneys, some black attorneys, some sisters.
Yeah.
As a legal assistant. And I had just gotten this job at this black firm with all sisters. And my first day there, they were kind of joking around about black law and white law. Mm-hmm. And how this people get this kind of time if they white and you got money, you know, you get. And I was like, man, that's not right. I witnessed these ladies kiss the DA's butts. I witnessed these ladies tell me if the client didn't have the money to say they wasn't there. I couldn't do it. And
wow. You still there, sis? Your audio cut out, Sister Crystal. Your audio cut out. But it's very interesting, you know, with what the Queen is witnessing behind the scenes.
I started going to, can you hear me?
Yes, you cut out for a second there. You cut out right when you talk about how you saw the sisters kiss the DA's butt and tell you the client didn't have money, just say that they wasn't there? Or
yeah, if they like somebody comes to sign up and they tell them it's gonna cost $5,000 for this case. And they might say, well, I got 800, they give them 800. They might tell you to bring another 1,000 back. So before bring them to the back to meet with the lawyers, we would give them paperwork. And the first time they asked, find out if they had the money. I went in there, gave them paperwork. I asked them, did they bring the rest of their money? And they didn't. So I went back, I bought the paperwork and I was told to say that to tell them that they was not there. And I just couldn't do it. I said, I'm not doing it.
Wow. They ain't got the lady sitting there, they life on the line.
The lady sitting there crying, you know what I'm saying? It's her son and she can pull every penny she got, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna be able to do that, And the same day I had heard about a program that was going on at TSU about Malcolm X. Mm-hmm. And I had never heard of Malcolm X. I'm all the way in college, went to paralegal school. Never heard of Malcolm X. So I watched this. I decided I was going to go ahead and take my lunch break.
Yeah.
And I went and saw Malcolm. I'm talking about a spiritual journey. If y'all not realize what I'm talking about.
I say.
I was working for, to get the big money job, lawyer.
Yeah.
And then. I was witnessing petty bourgeoisness at its worst. I was witnessing corruption and cowardice from people that I thought, was supposed to be top notch as far as what society says. So the next day, there was a program that the people who did the program about Malcolm, there was a brother named Judon Boney who was doing the radio show. He got the show, so I went up to KPFT, and there was a sister there about the death penalty. I'm like, wait a minute, do you mean they still lynching people? I thought that was like some old Wild West cowboy shit.
Yeah.
So she was, then they ran a spiel down to me about the death penalty. They execute 90% poor people, 80% black people. It's a continuation of lynchings. And that did it right there, because my great grandmother was lynched by the Klan in Louisiana.
Wow.
So I'd known about that my whole life. So to be honest, I ain't a crackers. I'm just gonna be straight up. When I learned that as a child, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm like, man, these people not right. So no money, it wasn't no. So that day, I walked out of, it was a demonstration against the death penalty going on. My next day, go to work, I had a choice. I was gonna go back and be one of these kiss butt Toms, and I didn't. I quit. I got cursed by my mama, my grandmother. Everybody told me I was a fool. I find something else to do. I started doing real estate. Because I have the stomach or the diplomacy to go into those courtrooms.
Yeah.
99% of the judges was white.
Yeah.
100% of the DAs at that time was white. Black lawyers that were going in there were black on the outside with a white mind. And, so.
And it's interesting you say that, because I think that mainstream society tries to paint, and I don't even say man, even in the black community, they try to paint those of us who choose to go against the grain, because I was in college on a full academic scholarship. I didn't learn about Malcolm X till I got to college, and it was the autobiography of Malcolm X that opened my eyes and made me want to get engaged and become a teacher. But then I didn't want to become a teacher for the school system, and I was on the fast track to success. This similar to what you're saying. And I think that in the community, people try to paint that when we make these shifts, like you're angry. That's anger. That's just anger. You're mad. You're militant. And I don't think people sometimes understand the spiritual aspect of it. No, this isn't anger. This is a spiritual fire. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel obligated to the creator. I feel obligated to the people. I feel obligated, spiritually, to get engaged and fight this fight, and yes, it's an uphill battle, but doesn't that battle mirror every uphill battle that we're taught about in scripture?
Yes, sir. That's right. Because when I saw that Malcolm video, I wanted to know where this man learned this. And see the brothers, I ain't gonna lie, I used to drive by, be smoking the blunt. I see the brothers, I would just stop because they were so beautiful. I was like, oh, look at them. At the bottom call. I didn't put two and two together. Yeah. That Malcolm was from, it was just they had the stuff about stopping the apartheid in South Africa. I was like, yeah, I'm down with that, So I started, that's what made me at this time start going to the nation. I would go in and join. I was still doing my street stuff, doing music, doing trying to still do some, do the college stuff,
Absolutely.
Kind of diverse in the way we move around.
Yes.
So I would go to the Shrine of the Black Madonna and the Nation and the Black Front, because they had all the Black knowledge.
Yeah.
So I would learn from the elders, and I see the great speakers come through, Tony Broader, Kwame Ture, all of these different groups was bringing in great speakers. The Nation had Afrikan, and I would bring in these speakers and Black United Front, so I have at the Shape Community Center would always have events. So I was reared in the quote unquote conscious community, as in my 20s.
Yes.
So by the time I got in my 30s and I was introduced to the party, I was rooted like a mug. I was already rooted.
Yeah.
And I already went through victories and betrayals. And that's what people got to understand. It is in the movement. It's not all cookie cutter. It's not all beautiful, but it ain't all bad either.
That's right.
God is very powerful and wise people that's been guided me to today. That's why I make a point.
You have some of your most rewarding experiences, but at the same time, yes, there will be some some negative experiences as well, but the rewards are tremendous, especially spiritual.
Exactly. And the negative, you know, see, we so beautiful as a people. We'll take the most horrific condition and that as a way of motivation. See, anger will make you get up. If it's too cold, you're gonna get agitated. Anger gonna make you go up and do what it takes to make sure the heat on.
Come on.
Negative, unless you use it to do something wrong and like go jack your brother and sister to get what you need to get.
I say.
Saying, but militants, it's not a bad word. I remember when I was a kid, people looked up to militants. Now they look up to faggots. It's like something really wrong in our society. But staying on a spiritual route, because it's all spiritual. You know, there's never been a revolutionary freedom fighter that I've read about or heard about that didn't have core principles of selflessness, greater good. That's spiritual.
That is spiritual. That's very spiritual, and it's rooted in science. It's not spooky. It's not spookism either. Right. You know, when we talk about the Black family and promoting and strengthening the family, family is an African science. That's a community building, nation building science. When we talk about self-defense and military preparation and political education, this is science. When you talk about overthrowing a government or separating from a nation and building one of your own, these are not emotional. These are things that are rooted in spiritual science to the point where it's almost sinful to be aware of what's happening and not be a part of the solution.
And that's a key part about the importance of African spirituality as a warrior. A lot of our people may have consciousness, but we're supposed to be conscious. Been so used to being deaf, dumb, and blind that when we have consciousness, they think they stop as if that's it. Because you know something. Knowing is not enough. Do something about what you know.
Find where your spot is.
Right. And people have, like you said, different talents and skills, but at the core is everything that you believe and belief. If your belief hasn't matched your knowledge, you will be a dreadlock, dashiki, worship white Jesus.
I say. And sometimes you can say Jesus is Black, but still worship the white. Sometimes you can say that there ain't no Jesus, and you still worshiping white Jesus just through your actions, because the worship, the lack of activity is a part of that ritual. The ignoring what's going on with African people, the allowing our children to be lied to every day and miseducated. You know, our refusal to learn what's going on beyond the surface and to get engaged. That's a ritual to a white God, is it not?
It is, because like you said, the rituals have been put in place.
Yeah. And then we offering all the trust to their institutions. You still trust in their institutions for everything. And we're not working to replace them. Isn't that worshiping their God?
Man, I've witnessed people to have all their head wrapped, right, 5 times a day, but all they want to be is an Arab. That's just as bad as being a Jesus worshiper. Worshiper. The spiritness of overcoming these patriarchal institutions that was created to enslave us. That's just 100. And spirituality has existed forever. And it's not like any religion. The majority of the African spiritual spirituality groups, or it's not groups, or practices, male and female deities that are black men and black women.
Yeah.
You know, and all of them have 3 core, well, not maybe 7, but Alepa is a warrior, Orisha. But also a warrior, Loa. It's, you know, talk about that science. Ogun the warrior.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
of African spirituality.
Yes.
For justice.
We were in the Uhuru Academy this past week. We studied the Haitian Revolution. Of course, January 1st every year is the anniversary of the Haiti or Haitian Revolution. January 1st, 1804, the first uprising known in history where the enslaved population took over the land and ran the enemies off the land. And we studied how a key component to that happening was the rejection of European spirituality and accepting African spirituality. And African spirituality was actually weaponized. When you talk about Makandar, who was an herbalist and a voodoo priest that killed thousands of the enemy, via poison and training enslaved Africans how to poison. You know what I'm saying? We talk about Duty Bookman and Cecilia Fatima and how they actually weaponized African spirituality. But they said, no. You learning this spirituality that tells you forgive your oppressor, forgive your master, serve your earthly master like you serve your godly master. And if you don't forgive them, if you get angry at them, you're gonna go to hell. No. If you don't fight, that's hell. If you don't fight back, that's the sin. There is no forgiveness. There are sharp, like the ancients say, sharp knives stand ready for the unrighteous intruder.
That's right. And also in African spirituality, unlike Western religions, you are required to not only honor the Orishas, the Lawa, you're required to honor your ancestors.
I say.
And in that, when you make your offerings to them, you are required to do things.
I say.
You're required to go out and manifest it is what you're asking for assistance with. It's not like sitting around and saying, oh, Jesus is gonna take care of it. Come on. You are required. And it makes you give a physical, moving your body, going to, bring the candles and the offerings and something. It requires reciprocity.
But you don't stop there. You don't stop at the altar.
Right.
And you get it because you have people who are taking the African traditions and just kind of stopping there. I know some folks that are ritual you at the game. But as far as applying it to our liberation, that ain't necessarily happening.
Right. And see, that's the thing too, because that's somebody or people who do that, they haven't evolved. They don't. They only got the basic, steps, but they don't know how to manifest.
Because that's definitely something we've dealt with, with temple and watchman development. Because sometimes, like nowadays, it's the information age, and you can come into E5, you can come into an African spiritual system and still not know our history. You still may not understand how we got here. So you could come into an African spiritual system, but you don't necessarily have an African-centered worldview because you haven't really looked at the world through African eyes. You haven't studied how we got here. So one of the things that we're dealing with in that development is developing an African-centered worldview, even though you are not assuming that that's what you have just because you've adopted an African spiritual system. You've adopted an African spiritual system, but how long have we been here? Can you name an ancient African civilization? What has been our walk in that spiritual system? How has it served us throughout the centuries? And I think that's really key in moving forward. That even though you could put on a dashiki, you can learn all 256 Odu, but if you don't know who you are, if you don't know who we are, all you're gonna end up doing is corrupting the system that the ancestors handed down to you.
It happened in Haiti, as you said.
I say.
People who were in the what they call so-called Dominican side, those who had maybe even grew up knowing of African spirituality, yet of the system, yet their education, their loyalty was to the cracker. And they ended up being the ones who betrayed Day Salim and the work that was done. And also I have to say it is ongoing. African spirituality is ongoing. That now there are those who would now put De Salim in the pantheon, you know, as early Dantor, because of the work that they did that was bigger than them as an individual, for the good. You know, we would literally be, I was told in the days of chattel slavery, this was one of the reasons that they would stop us from speaking our tongue. Because even the words, the names, the practices, but our people, you know, like that's what I was saying earlier, despite obstacles, because, you know, we find a way to get something done anyway. You know,
absolutely.
Pass stuff on. They might not tell you this what it is, but mama and them been giving us little things to do. You know,
we've been practicing the whole time in certain aspects and in certain ways.
Right. They might have been going to the Baptist church and the Catholic church.
Absolutely.
You know, when you got sick, they was giving you some root to heal you.
That's right. Well, my mama grew up in Abilene, Texas, and she say a lot of times they go to the doctor and the doctor send them to the root doctor.
Yes.
When the doctor didn't know what to do, they'll send you to the root woman or the root man. And they get with you, you know, because it's rooted in science. You know, of course, they made us afraid of it because they're afraid of it. And they're afraid of what we could do with it because they've witnessed it. They witnessed it in Haiti.
Right.
They witnessed it on the continent. They've witnessed it. So there is a legitimate fear of African spirituality. I want to ask you this before we go, though. What has it been like as a woman inside of such a male-dominated dynamic as far as being a part of leading the new Black Panther Party? What are some of the challenges that you face as a woman in the struggle and in the movement?
Oh man, I was elected on December the 31st, 2013, and from 2014 to 2015, I came up under so many attacks and attempted coups simply because I was a sister. Brothers would come into high deep and try to say, oh yeah, she's a good sister, she's been doing the work, but a woman can't lead.
Wow.
Brothers would try to go in, the Hebrew brothers would go into the whatever Torah, their book, and try to find ways to say. And people who I soldiered with as comrades for 10 years at that time when it happened started cutthroating me simply and trying to use the fact of the sister. But see, that didn't work. You know what I'm saying? And all the while, it was really just their male egos, because we had, you know, I've been on many a battlefield across America. And before I became the national chair, I was a Southern regional rep for 10 years. I'm sorry, 5 years. And a Houston chair for 10 years. So the work had been put in. And as Houston chair, the comrades out of Dallas and Atlanta and New Jersey, we was going across America wrecking shop on this system. So that the sexism has been intricate in the movement, just like racism is intricate in America. Wow. Because most religions are rooted in patriarchy. And it worked to our benefit. And this was I was saying earlier about African spirituality. You have Ogun, but you also have Oshun. You have Shango, but you also have Oya.
Yeah.
You have Abatala. You have Yemen. See, in African spirituality, there is no sexism.
Yeah, I say.
Really, even if you go into the Kemetic science, you got a set.
No God without the goddess. I was playing Dr. Khaled Classic, the goddamn white man, in the early 90s.
Yes.
Always open up with that. And one of the things I used to love about him as a youngster, number one, he was dark skinned, and the NOI was kind of light skinned dominant, but I loved he was a dark skinned brother. But number two, he always talked about Africa. You didn't get that a lot from NOI ministers back then, you know, and he talked about the God and the goddess, the balance, you know, that's necessary. And so we're talking about self-defense, and you guys are cadres that's committed to teaching us to defend ourselves, committed to defending the Black community. How does the internal conflict, especially conflict that just arises simply because you're a woman, how does that interfere or stymie the overall movement of the organization? Is it time wasted? Do you feel like it's so much time wasted, or is this just a growing pain?
It was actually, I believe, necessary because it allowed us to see the type of people who had serious character flaws that stifling the movement in the first damn place.
I say,
who continue to stifle the movement, because a person who has an opportunist mind state, a person who has a sexist mind state, a person who has a feminist mind state, a person, a liberal mind state is dangerous. And when people reveal their character, although it was a bit painful at first, they'll be like, for real, brother, that's how you get down? Oh, okay. I'm like, okay, thank you. You know, because the real comrades, the real freedom fighters, those who are not only physically and warrior rooted, but who are spiritually rooted, who are intellectually, we didn't fall for that.
I say. And
we still don't. And when it pops up, we can see it coming 10 miles down the way.
I say.
And then we'll give you make sure, is that what you say? That's what you think? That give you a chance to make sure there was no misunderstanding, and then an opportunity to move around.
Has your time in serviceship, because you're a servant, you're a leader, but you're serving the people. Has your time in that position, has it been a catalyst for growth for a lot of brothers inside and sisters inside of the movement? Like I can imagine there's some brothers that look at that and say, I didn't think I could walk beside a woman in this movement, but now I know I can. Like, have you seen some growth in any brothers that say, you know what, I doubted it at first, but sister, you done showed me, or the creator has shown me that this is where, that I, because we have to deal with, when you come into consciousness, you have to deal with your own deprogramming. We all bring an inner cracker in here with us, right? And I always tell brothers and sisters, that's the first white person you got to kill, is one you brought in the room with you, inside of you. Those concepts, those ideas, those attitudes. Have you witnessed that sexist attitude or patriarchal attitude actually turn around in somebody?
No, I haven't.
Wow.
I haven't. It's just I haven't seen no good white folk.
No, I'm talking about Black people.
I'm saying that how sexism and racism, I'm talking those sicknesses.
Yes.
Because most of the people that have flexed that way, and even when we've had attempted to organize truces, even though I was the one that was aggressed upon, myself and my central committee, which consists of male and female. We whenever there's been an attack, we come together as a crew, put our minds together and say, how are we going to address it? And we've used diplomacy to, address some of these issues. I've personally, sat and talked with people, and they would be, I've had some of these same people give them an opportunity to redeem themselves, and then they turn around and do the same thing again. So I haven't, now I have met or had instances where brothers and sisters might have come in who were new, and, they might have had, some preconceived sexist tendency, but I'm surrounded by so many brothers that don't operate like that. I'm gonna put it like this: Black Panther Party. If you want to join, we have weekly political education, and then we also we do a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We hit the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. So, y'all be on the ground. Sister, I see you have like, I be like, she was just in Philly yesterday. How's she in California today? Like,
yeah, revolutionary roll.
Yes,
we roll.
Yes.
But the thing is, like, and when we studying, and then when we out in the ground, your character's gonna come out. You know, and
work.
I don't know if they on the sideline, but like, man, she a BI. You know what I'm saying? But it's respect, it's love. You know, we don't worry about getting a whole bunch of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We're about getting equality.
Yes.
Grooming, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure it might be going on, but like I said, up until I became a chair, I worked with comrades for years. I believe it was egos.
Mm-hmm.
I believe when those coups were going on, that it was people who wanted the position.
Yeah.
They used me being a sister as an excuse because we had already soldiered together.
Yeah.
And it was never no new person.
Mm-hmm.
Came against me with people I knew, Baba, or at least some time. And they would use all of a sudden, like, for real, brother, you know, you went to the Hadith, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Torah, you know.
With the scripture.
Wasn't we just arm in arm in Miami? You know?
Yeah.
So, but those people who do that, they have, I'm saying black men that do that, they have a character flaw. And the sisters that back them because they trying to kiss butt to the brothers, character flaw.
What advice would you give to a sister that's getting engaged in the movement, wants to join a formation, truly in it to serve the people? You know what I'm saying? Truly in it to do that. What advice would you give a sister when it comes to navigating? You know, because you've been in music too. So like you've been in hip hop, you know, that's a male dominated dynamic. You know what I'm saying? What and it's like that in the movement. What advice as a leader, as an example, what advice would you give a sister who's sincerely in this movement, but really wants to avoid, you know, the BS and really wants to just serve and fight for liberation?
To have principle about yourself. You know, we also have that in the manual because I'm not gonna lie. First came into the party, some of these brothers was running through sisters like a marathon and was causing friction. Yeah. And some of these sisters was trying to join just to get with the brothers. And again, you know, when you're doing that work, and it's not like we got like cities and cities of people, it's a small circle of freedom fighters in this country.
I say.
You know, we always speaking highly in king queen conversation. We're always teaching about the principles of Mayat and Nguzu Saba, not just doing Kwanzaa and you know. So, and we have a strong, you know, we just keep it real with one another. We have the talks, we have brother talks, and we have rules about sexism in this organization. If you're gonna be getting involved in this organization with somebody, you need to, you know, make it aware, and people need to, and that's some of the things that we put in place under this central committee, because that was a theme, you know, that's taking place.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I always, because I kind of introduced my queen, I kind of introduced Nkoyo to a lot of, you know, to our history, to a lot of things going on in the movement. But one of the first things that I admonished her to do was don't be in it vicariously through me. Study your story. You take ownership of it. Study for self. Find your path, you know, independent of me. Because sometimes we may come in as couples and that sort of thing, you know. And I think that sometimes because we're conditioned in society, sometimes, like you said, if a sister come in looking for a mate and that sort of thing, if a sister come in, you're sincere, I always try to, one of the pieces of advice I give is to make sure you're studying for you and independent. You know, get your political education for you.
Right.
Am I making sense? You
are. And that's what I was saying. Like when we train, the sisters got to lay down in the dirt just like the brothers. We have to clean our weapons like they have to clean our weapons.
Yes.
It's got to cook and the brothers got to cook. Hey, this is the most balanced as far as without, you know, women are not trying to be men and men are not trying to be women. We're African people. And, you know, we have real serious conversations, you know, about the roles and the you know, what's expected and keeping that balance, you know. So we have real candid conversations amongst us, our classes, and it's in our manual. We had to put certain things in place, rules, just like, you know, no dating of white people. That's like really a rule in our organization. Like,
and that's rooted in science. If you don't understand it, that's not emotional, that's political. And
we
that's
tell you that from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's in the manual, so you can't say you didn't know.
Yeah.
It says right there about sexism in the manual. You know, it's brothers do not take liberties with the sisters. That is a rule. That rule wasn't just come out of nowhere.
Hey, that's something in the RBG movement. We definitely have to, you know, we've had to deal with inside the temple. We've had to deal with it, the whole 9 yards, you know, and stepping brothers honorable brothers got to step to brothers and say, hey man, you know, that's going to disrupt things. Why are you here? You know, that's disruptive.
Right.
The way you know, so what's going to be the code of conduct? And we have to develop a code of conduct. You know, of course we want beautiful African women and beautiful African men to meet each other and be with each other and take it where it needs to go, hopefully build powerful Black families, you know, but at the same time, we can't bring in a conqueror's attitude into our relationships and weaken our internal defense because we can't deal with our male-female relationships. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have a strong external defense if you have a weak internal defense.
That's right. We even had some sisters. Now, I'm not saying it's all been on the brothers. We've had some sisters that was trying to play the, you know, this brother, you know, and that's part of the rule. If it's in a relationship, it needs to be made known, you know. So that's on that note. But for the most part, I wanted to say is in regards to African spirituality part and in self-defense. Most African spirituality basis, you know, we ask our ancestors for protection. That's one of the things we ask for. So it's common sense that we must protect ourselves.
I say.
Defense goes, we ask for protection, we ask for, you know, abundance. We're fighters, and we're also businessmen and women. Like, we're working on nation building, you know. There are things that we're doing right now in real estate and land.
I say.
There are things that we're doing right now in business and energy and things that are coming down the pipeline. That's why we so excited at Crunk about the, you know, the Uhuru Academy and the schools that you bring, because the thing that's in our 10-point platform, we have to manifest.
That's right.
And, you know, and once we have our nation, we have to defend it.
That's right.
So it goes hand in hand.
That's right.
You know, you need
to
have your AR-15.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Just like you need to have your library.
I say.
You know.
I say.
You need to have your you know how to do your self-defense, like hand to hand, just like you need to know how to cook to make you live long.
I say.
All together.
Yep, the health and wellness, that's defense. Self-defense, preventing poison from coming into your body through the foods that we eat. You know, that's spiritual and that's self-defense at the same time. Institution building. But like you say, if we're going to build it, we got to be ready to defend it.
Yes.
We have to be ready to defend it. You know, and so that's one of the things that I admire about how you move and how your organization moves, because like you said, it's doing business. It's ownership. Ownership is a form of protection. You know, a lot of times we're helpless because we don't own the streets that we're marching on.
Yes.
You know, and so ownership is a key part of the self-defense, but it's also a key part of spirituality and protecting your culture and protecting how you believe and how you ritualize and how you behave. So it goes hand in hand, you know, and I just think it's important to get that message out there so people understand it. When you see Like you see Sister Crystal and you got them things on you, and you standing, and you letting them folks know, justice, justice for Mumia, or justice for our political prisoners, or justice for somebody who just been murdered by the police, and you stand there with that thing. That's not anger, that's spiritual, that's God, that's divinity that you're watching.
Black power.
In the face of power, speaking truth in the face of power, and saying, I'm willing to lay not just my life on this, but your life too, if you cross this line.
Yes, sir. And I gotta just be honest and just be 1,000 with it. We are in captivity.
Come on.
Captivity.
Come on.
So, even though we're able to move around the plantation a little freer, in the States, instead of, on a plantation, we're occupied and rolled over by the police. And this land that we are being held in captivity on is our original birthland and birthright.
Okay.
The people who are ruling us, who are not from here, who stay in rulership by exercising brute force, regular basis, on a basis. This government is so-called shut down. It's a criminal enterprise anyway. That's why they got a mob grand dragon president. The world has been waking up as far as the African spirituality that's going on, as far as people coming to consciousness. This battle that these Europeans are waging from Vietnam to Syria to Afghanistan, these are ongoing locations of that have been going on crusades.
Yeah.
About taking territories that are not only rich in minerals, but have some of the biggest and most powerful temples, that our ancestors were the ones that were honored in those temples.
I say.
The Angkor Wat in
I
Vietnam.
would love to build something on top of some copper right about now.
Come on.
you know, I would love to negotiate a deal and do some nation building on the continent or South America, anywhere we sitting on some real natural resources and can build some real institutions and mount a real defense.
The cracker sends the missionary and then the military.
I say.
That's what they do. That's what they've done. It has worked for them. They come in there and get your mind, your spirit mind. Have you all waiting up in the cloud till you die, and here come Afrikan. Here comes the NATO.
And
here comes
now the missionary done converted folks, so they're gonna open the door. They ain't got to beat the door down. The door gonna be open for them.
Right, and also for their people here in America and Europe, they still going back to that, 1505. Well, we're gonna go civilize these non-white Jesus worshiping people, so that when you know that you're sending your sons and daughters to go murder or be murdered, the message that they're given, they always come with a spiritual attack first. Yeah. Not even the people that they converting, because you can't really convert the people that have it, but to justify to the people here whose tax and whose children's lives they putting on the line for it. Instead of going over there with them Arabs, they don't worship white Jesus, or they're going down there into the Congo with those voodoo Negroes. They have their spiritual, their religious missions, and they're part of their warfare. And part of their warfare.
In their doctrine, they write off the life of those who don't believe what they believe. Your life is completely written off, and these are conquerors' doctrines. These are, you know what I'm saying? And it's very dangerous, and it's been very dangerous. And we're paying a heavy price, dealing with these people, thinking we're dealing with them on a spiritual level. But you talking spirituality, and they talking something totally different.
Right.
They got something totally different in mind. When they come, they're just coming to subjugate and to enslave and to destroy. I kind of like to think of myself as African-centered missionary, though.
Come on.
I'm trying to come in with some global African perspective and spirituality, and then bringing the military in right behind me.
Come on, we're here.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't lie. I'm trying to build a temple first too. I'll build a temple and bring the military into it. You know what I'm saying? Same approach, totally different mentality though.
You better watch. You better bring the military while you building it, because they gonna steal all your materials
all day. All day. All right, Chris, tell me this before we get out of here. Because media keeps us distracted, and one of the things that could be confusing, especially for those of us who kind of ain't reading a lot, maybe working a lot and on a job, dealing with our babies or whatever, and so we're looking at MSNBC, now we thinking about government shutdowns and Russia investigations, but usually something going on dealing with us that's closer to home that we're not even seeing because we're not studying hard enough. Where do you feel, as an activist on the ground, what are some things that we should be paying attention to right now that maybe is not in the mainstream news?
We need to be paying attention to the lynchings, the real life lynchings that have been escalating and are going on. See, when Barack Obama came in office, the police murders by the bullets started escalating, like, they're killing us. Like, that was the white man's way of retaliating. And we witnessed the courts allow these pigs to get away with it. And then when Trayvon Martin was killed, that's escalated what has been going on with white vigilante attacks on our people.
I say.
And also there's been a rise in the Ku Klux Klan's way of operating and these white supremacist, so-called white supremacist groups that are going on. Mm-hmm. And we've also been seeing so many reports on television about white people just filming black people and calling the cops for frivolous reasons.
Yeah.
See, extreme amount of white rage and anger and retaliation going on by these white folks.
Yeah.
And we have to be on guard and tell the truth about that.
Yeah.
And every family that we've dealt with that has had a child lynched, they're teaching their sons to love everybody. We have to get out of that. We have to really understand and push unequivocally about the putting a stop to the interracial relationships. Mm-hmm. We have to also go hard on this homosexual culture that's being promoted. Mm-hmm. That is the ultimate eugenics. Okay? Mm-hmm. Man and man will not reproduce. Woman and woman will not reproduce. Mm-hmm. They were so subtle and then aggressive for the last 20 years in getting this homosexual agenda on board. Mm-hmm. Now they're coming with a pedophile agenda.
Yeah, the new civil rights movement.
Yeah, these people, because homosexuality and pedophilia, it go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And that's a whole nother subject, but we got to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So, and I think that people don't understand that population control is real.
Right.
And that there's a science behind suppressing the reproduction among certain populations. Hell, they just Crackle was just in the news today. He was one of the white boys that they say discovered the DNA helix, DNA science. And he was in the news today because I guess some university was working there, got rid of him. He's an old cracker. They denounced him finally, because he's saying that scientifically Africans are less intelligent than white folks, and that Africans and the whole eugenics movement that Africans shouldn't be allowed to breed as much, and I don't think we understand that racism, there's a such thing as scientific racism. And when you talk about the gay agenda, homosexual agenda, and the promotion of the homosexual agenda, that there's a real agenda behind. That's not emotion talk. That there's a real agenda that can be pointed to in detail that's behind the promotion of this agenda.
That's right.
Of course, pedophilia has been built into European culture since there was a such thing as a European.
And that's because they didn't want to reproduce. Because they were in the cave.
It was in the cave.
But the thing also, I we still in captivity. That's the point I want to say.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
We have never been released from the yoke of oppression by the people who enslaved our ancestors.
Okay.
It went from individual slave owners to the state.
Mm.
It had 500 years to master the principle of the house nigger, the yard nigger, the field nigger. Okay? And their master plan was to say, okay, y'all free, now we're going to let you in the house. And if you look at every slave rebellion, it was the house Negro that thwarted it.
Mm-hmm.
Have allowed people to come into their plantations. They have your children in school while you're in the plantation. The resistance to understanding that we are still being governed and ruled by the people who enslaved us, it doesn't exist as much as it should. There was only us few freedom fighters. Where people think it's normal to go out and vote for your oppressor.
Mm.
And we think, and you legitimizing a criminal enterprise. We still in captivity. There was an open war being waged on us. They're blatantly saying it. They're blatantly doing it. They're poisoning our foods. They are opening, assassinating with their local military that you know as the police. And the police will not get any more than a Marine or an Army soldier in Iraq because they know we're at war. So we need to know that. We need to do everything necessary to be self-determined, from providing from where we stay to where we provide food, how we promote and keep it black. We got everything we need amongst ourselves. We don't have to go out of anything.
Yes, and we have to pass these principles on to the next generation. So they won't be like me and you, Crystal, and learn about Malcolm X in college.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's on our watch, Baba. We got work to do. We got to keep connecting with comrades that think like us and just expanding it. I remember when we started the Screw movement, Screw was our DJ. It was like underground music because the underground music didn't have a voice on mainstream. So we forced it from the streets up till it became something that mainstream tried to do.
But I'm at H-Town now, so you know how I do RBG music.
Black Power.
We down with that. I'm looking for some RBG artists. I'm trying to see who getting it in down here.
Okay, right on.
I keep a mic and an audio interface. I keep a studio with me in my bag. Right
on. We got to make it happen. But I believe, and I know that we are pushing the right culture. That's one of the things that I loved about you guys with the Lone Star RBGs and your Black Family Day. We just have to keep pushing culture, to where people will be ashamed to be cooning, and we make it, known like you cooning. You know what I'm saying? They can't be comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like having on a fake gold chain back in the day, man. You can't coon. No, none of that.
Yeah.
And our babies deserve it. They deserve to have safe spaces where they just be themselves, be safe, knowing that every African adult standing around them is going to protect them, and they can learn, they can have fun. We have to create those spaces, and that takes work, but it's a beautiful work. It's a beautiful work. I say, all right, I'm going to let you go, sis. I appreciate you coming in with us tonight. I really appreciate this dialogue. It's been very powerful. But before you get out of here, just let us know, how can we support the new Black Panther Party? Those who are interested in getting involved with new Black Panther Party, what do they need to do? What are you guys working on right now? Any pertinent information you want us to have right now about what you all are working on?
Yes, sir. We have a website that's NBPP. That's N as in new, B as in Black, P as in Panther, P as in Party.org. That's nbpp.org is the best way to reach us, because there's a contact link. Information in. We are very thorough with getting back with people. And I'll say that again, nbpp.org. Also, coming up next week on January the 21st, which is Dr. Martin Luther King Day, we will be hosting a demonstration for justice for all the martyred victims of lynchings. In 2015, Otis Berg was lynched in Mississippi. In 2017, Philip Carroll was lynched in Mississippi. 2017, Jeremy Jackson was lynched in Mississippi. And in 2018, Willie Jones Jr. was lynched in Mississippi. And so we heard of a few other lynchings around the nation, but there's been an increase and an influx in these lynchings. So we're going to be having a strong demonstration of solidarity on Dr. King Day with the families and the people that are speaking up against that in Jackson, Mississippi, which is the state capital. So if anybody wants to support that, wants to get more information, they can hit us up on the website, nbpp.org, and we'll send you that. We have an ongoing campaign to free our political prisoners, and we're getting ready to launch a very major reparations campaign. So there's a lot going, but we have the talent, we have those that have the desire. So we're going to push the front line, brother. We're going to push the front line.
I say, we're going to talk about integrating some education stuff. I want to get involved as far as some classes, maybe some online stuff or whatever I can do to help, yes, whatever the Uhuru Academy can do to help. We on deck. Me and the Queen, we on deck.
Yeah, I love this right here. Once we get this video chatting down packed,
yeah, it's on. It's on. And it's true because just inside this chat we can have up to 100 people.
Wow, that's what I'm talking about.
And so we can use these tools to our advantage, and that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're doing. So right, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking our time. I know you're very busy, sister. Y'all have the radio program tomorrow night, correct?
Yeah. Black Power, yes, sir. We have the new Black Panther Party radio show every Monday night. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, radio show. Let's see how we can get stream the blog and the radio. Man, we moving on to modern times, and we got to stay with it. Yes, our radio show comes on from 7 to 9 Central, 8 to 10 Eastern, 5 to 7 Pacific. And folks can listening in at blogtalkradio.com/the New Black Panther Party. And you can listen live from your computer. And we say the number to the show. I don't have it offhand. Several times on there, but we would love your support. Bob Amin has been one of our special guests a couple of times.
Right. We love it.
We want to make sure we get you back.
Oh,
but we rocking and rolling, brother.
Anytime. Well, sister, yes. I appreciate you. I appreciate you on so many levels. You guys have welcomed our family to Houston. We my little babies, they technically Houstonians. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely appreciate you helping us out, being here. We appreciate everything you're doing for our people. My prayers are for you, for your family, your personal family. You know what I'm saying? That you continue to be able to take care of them and look out for your own while you looking out for us too. And please give your thanks to your family. Give our thanks to your family for sharing you with us as well. And
thank you, brother.
Yeah, and please remember you Black too, and we fighting for your freedom too, sister. And we appreciate
right on, brother.
And keep doing what you're doing, family. I don't know what else to tell y'all. Other than it's real. It's real out here, and there are real people out here on the ground doing real things, and they need our help. They need our continued support. They deserve it. And she ain't doing it for the accolades. She ain't asking for no plaques. She ain't asking for no trophies. She just wants you to take responsibility for your own liberation and get it in. All right. Sister Crystal, I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Baba. Man, appreciate you too.
Black Power, sister.
Black Power, King. Black Power.
All right. I want to thank everybody for that sat in live and watch this dialogue with us. I pray that you got something out of it. I appreciate your time. I want to encourage you to continue to support our work. You can support the Uhuru Academy via donation on Cash App, $ Uhuru Academy. You can also go to uhuruacademy.com/donate and set up a monthly auto debit as low as $5 a month to help us in everything that we do. Walk in gratitude. Understand that those of us who are out here organizing, those of us who are starting our own businesses, those of us who are out here speaking truth to power, this is a spiritual journey. It's not rooted in anger. It's not rooted in immaturity. It's not rooted in opportunism. It's rooted in a feeling. It's rooted in a spirit that rises up inside of you that says, I won't allow the revolution to die. I won't allow oppression to win. That I'm going to continue to carry on the truth. My time here will be used to carry on the truth, to empower my people, to empower others, right? And it's a calling that once you have it, it's there. It's there, you know, and there's no fear of death or anything like that involved in it, because guess what? We're all going to go. Nobody's here forever, you know. So why not spend that time here making someone feel divine, making your people feel divine, making those who are despised, those who are spit on, those who are lied on, redeeming them and redeeming that truth, learning how to see our own divinity. Many of you are very spiritual people already. You have a sincere love for the spiritual, for God, for the deity. You know, it's sincere. What if that really reflected in self, though? What if that really manifested in self, and that same patience, that same love for your fellow man that you actually have for yourself and the fellow man or woman that looks like you? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Matter of fact, I know it isn't. Do we deserve to be defended? Do we deserve justice? Do we deserve that? Do we have to wait on somebody else to decide that we matter? Who are we waiting on to make a decision that we matter? And why would we wait? Why would we wait for somebody to decide whether or not our children deserve to learn their history? Whether or not our children deserve to learn how to own and operate their own businesses, to own land, whether or not our girls should be safe, our boys should be safe. Who are we waiting to make that decision for us? That's something we have to do for ourselves. That's something that our ancestors and that our Creator has mandated. If you want to get down with this temple, the New African Temple, be sure that you're an African man and an African woman that's ready to take responsibility for African people. Be sure you're ready to buy land. Be sure you're ready to build schools. Be sure you're ready to practice global diplomacy with other African people and African nations. Be sure you're ready to move with respect and in good character. If you're ready to do those things, and we're ready to walk together, we're ready to build together. That's what the New African Temple is all about. You want more information on how to join, on how to be a part of this movement? Get at me. I love you. I don't mind telling you. This has been the New African Temple. See y'all next week. Black Power.